welcome to Jamaica Plain. This is where we've had a pilot program in a residential setting for the last 5 months. We've had an opportunity to learn a lot. Every day is a new question to be answered, and we luckily have a great team of volunteer participants to let me kind of poke around in their backyard and get some information that will hopefully lead to some answers. This is an eclectic neighborhood located in Midtown Boston, a little removed from downtown, but not out in the suburbs. It's a really historically rich neighborhood. It's built up on a bluff. It's a community of caring, engaged neighbors. Up here on the streets of Cranston, Termine, and Sheridan, we've engaged 30 residents who have agreed to participate in a pilot study to decide whether or not non-poisonous, environmentally friendly, and sustainable rat population control is achievable through Good Bites. Good Bites are an all-natural food in a pellet form that, whether eaten by a male or a female rat, will suppress their fertility within a very short amount of time after consumption. It essentially is a birth control for very small mammals. Okay. So this is station 11. Went down to 50% overnight. So we'll give it a little fill. This is 29 Cranston, that's feeder 11. All set. Each week, we re-deliver the treatment amount of pellets so that the rats are able to continue to eat, and we're able to continue to collect data on the amount of consumption happening. One of the main questions we're trying to answer up here is whether or not we're going to be able to deliver the Good Bites directly to the rats, and only the rats. Through our weekly observations, we know that the pellets have a very high attractive quality to them. But we don't know whether or not we're only going to be able to reduce one species, so we have to keep checking every week. It's not just rats that are hungry in the neighborhood. We also have secondary species that are very interested in the attractiveness of this food. We come across rabbits, skunks, raccoons, squirrels, birds, snakes, and turkeys. We even have a couple of very curious chickens. This particular location has awesome residents that have really helped me learn some workarounds for some problems we ran into early on. As we know, this is a real 360 learning environment that takes trial and error and trial and error. When we first put these feeders, whoever was visiting this one most frequently found that the easiest way to get to what's inside is to throw it over this cliff behind me, and it would break open at the bottom, like an egg or something. So Bob has actually chained this one to this tree for me so that this is as far as it can go. So each week I put it back up here. As I approach each station, the first thing I do is I'm making a visual assessment of knowing where it was placed last time it was filled and what it looked like, so that I can tell if it has been tampered with, moved, or otherwise visited. And this one I can tell has, because I secure the top of this feeder with that rock that's a couple feet from it now. Okay. So I usually keep this guy over here. And again, you can see how wider that opening has become. When a box is collapsed like this, as opposed to just eaten in a bigger way, I can tell that that's something that has been reaching in, trying to get a hold of it. So this was likely visited by a raccoon last night, because this box was new yesterday. So you can tell that there's some little muddy hands have been reaching in here trying to get a hold of these tasty Good Bites. So we'll just kind of bend it back into shape. Measure it down, 25% consumption overnight. Give it a little fill. Shut the door and replace the deadbolt. See you tomorrow, buddy. I try and keep in mind that I'm just an extension. I'm a pair of eyes and hands for the people with the real understanding and awareness of how to apply this information. So I try and be as thorough as I can. Some residents I only interact with via email. Some prefer a text. Some prefer only face-to-face communications, which I'm really happy with. So I'll ring their doorbell and let them know what's going on and how things are going. Uh-oh. Aha, I found it. Sometimes it's like an Easter egg hunt to find where our feeders have gone. Let's see how hungry they were. Okay, gone. But what I'm noticing here, as opposed to some of the other ones, the original shape of this box is intact. So whatever came to feed at it did not need to collapse the box in order to get to the food. Also, you can see these little gnaw marks to make the hole wider. One day I opened this one and one of my research assistants was inside having lunch. So now I open it slowly. I'm going to replace this box because you can see the measuring stick is no longer intact. Empty. I filled this yesterday. But you can see as other things larger than the rat hole want to get in, they will start gnawing at these boxes. So a squirrel can easily come in that hole at this point. I've seen them get gnawed to the point where a bunny can get in. They ate this all overnight. You can see some droppings in there. You can also see some gnaw marks along the tops here. Dump that in. I'm going to replace the station number in there as well while I'm here. This is 13 Cranston, feeder 26, 0 on 0. We filled that puppy up. Station 22. I'm going to tuck it back up here. Okay, this is really great. I haven't been here since last Friday and there's still some pellets left. That to me says we are approaching a more balanced population over here. Box. And we're empty. Couple of little scraps, but mostly empty. Okay, 0% consumption overnight. We will shut it up and leave it be. We're still 100%. Well, this afternoon, the thing that I can feel really good about walking away is that we're continuing to learn, and more than that, we're continuing to be given the opportunity to learn. Without the residents' participants, without their willingness to let us come into their backyard and rustle around in their bushes, and without the open-mindedness of the many kinds of people that live here, we would never be able to answer the question whether or not this is going to work in a residential setting. If I had to pick any group of individuals to try and work this question out with, it would definitely be the participants we have here.